Hello, my name is Michelle Klemme, and I am part of the dairy nutrition team at CP Feeds. I would like to spend a few minutes today discussing the impact of heat stress on dairy cattle. This slide summarizes the consequences of heat stress. At the time of this podcast recording, most herds have seen their milk and components rebound from this past summer's heat, but I am still hearing of increased lameness or white line separation due to excessive standing and reduced reproductive performance. We expect these areas to be affected for several months yet. This chart should look familiar, but I thought it was a good reminder of when our dairy cattle are under heat stress. If we have a 74 to 75 degree day, which is red on the left column, and humidity of 75 to 80%, our cows register 72 on the temperature heat index graph. They are under moderate heat stress at that level. So about the time we're feeling comfortable and we think the weather is wonderful, our cows are suffering moderate heat stress. This slide compares the THI to body temperature on a cow. It was collected on a Minnesota cross-fed dairy barn back in June of 2011. As you can see, internal body temperature of the cow, which is the red line, follows the black line, which is our THI. So as the temperature cooled off, body temperature also dropped. What's interesting is when the THI and the body temperature were above about 64, we saw possible embryonic loss in the cattle. This slide looks a little bit at heat stress and embryonic development during the first 9 days. There's a lack of heat tolerant protein present, so those embryos do not do well when the body temperature is above 102.2 degrees. This graph shows the relationship of pregnancy risk and what happened when a dairy in California improved their heat abatement strategies. Before they made any improvements to their heat abatement, they would see the typical drop in pregnancy during the warmer summer months, and then they would rebound. After they implemented some different strategies to help keep the cows cooler, that they still saw the drop in the heat of the summer to the reproductive performance, but the range was less. They improved about 7 points off the bottom, so that range was a lot tighter. This is one of my favorite tables. It summarizes 5 Florida heat studies that looked at cooling the dry cows versus not cooling your dry cows and the effect on milk production. The dry cows are a group of animals that we tend to forget about, and this is what I think moving forward dairies need to focus on, is how are those dry cows housed and cooled in the summertime. Because as you can see, if the cows are cooler as a dry cow when they calve in, it's anywhere from 5 to 16.5 pounds additional milk production. So that's the other thing we're going to be seeing here the next couple months, is our dairy cows are not going to peak as high, and milk production probably is going to be sub-optimal from where we wish that they were truly at, and it is going to go back to some of the heat stress we saw this summer. This table shows the effect of heat stress on calf performance. So when cows are under heat stress, we're going to see lighter birth weights, and that weight actually carries over to their weaning weight. We're going to have a lighter calf at weaning at about 2 months of age. Thank you for your time today. This is the first of several heat abatement podcasts we plan to share with you. My goal today was to get you to start thinking about changes to your facility and heat abatement program that you can implement before the hot weather hits us next summer. As always, feel free to reach out to your CP Feeds representative to continue this discussion and to have any questions answered on heat abatement.